Hello, this is Stan Goff, and I am the managing editor with Dentistry. Today we are here in Las Vegas at DS World, and we've had a lot going on, but today, right now, we've got Susannah Schaefer. She's the president and CEO of SmileTrain, and Dr. Paul Feuerstein, our editor-in-chief, and we're going to learn a little bit about SmileTrain, and then we're going to have a little special for you after that. Obviously, great program. I've talked to you and others, your colleagues, for a few years here now. Every year you guys tell me about the wonderful things you're doing. You usually show some videos that make me reach for my Kleenex. And but I mean, as a parent, you know, and anyone who wants to see children have the best opportunities, we appreciate all that you guys do.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We love what we do. I love what we do at SmileTrain. It is truly impactful work. I think what's so important to each of us on the SmileTrain team is that, you know, we have a small part in changing lives. It's been 26 years of impact, treating through our partners, our medical partners around the world, treating Cleft for people who struggle to get access to care. And that's what our model is all about. It's about building sustainable Cleft programs that not only provide the surgical support that a patient needs, but the comprehensive care that's required for full Cleft treatment.
And it has to be so rewarding because most people aren't real familiar with how prominent a problem it can be and how difficult it can be on children and families and parents. And when you see people that are having such trouble and then the happy results at the end, it's got to be pretty rewarding.
It is.
And so I'm lucky. I live in Boston, and we have Massachusetts General Hospital, this family's things. But if you're in the middle of nowhere, you don't have any hair, and there's a young child will come in who's being picked on in school and things like that, and can't eat properly, and can't nourish properly, and then you come in with your core people and help them out. And so explain a little bit about how this whole process works.
Well, I think when Paul, you mentioned core people. So our model is based on partnership. Mm-hmm. So we do not apply a mission-based model to treat Cleft. We never have. We never will. Mission-based approaches or short-term outcomes are not ideal. How do you meet the needs of a full Cleft treatment and the journey for a full Cleft journey if you don't have a sustainable program? Mm-hmm. And that is the power of SmileTrain.
And this is accessibility is quite the problem, obviously.
Accessibility, but as we apply this partnership model, mm-hmm. So our goal is to empower local medical professionals with the funding, the resources that they need to treat children in their own communities.
And you're not bringing people from other places. You want them to see their own people.
Correct, because they know best.
Yeah.
Right? And at SmileTrain, I'm not a doctor. We do have doctors on our team, yeah, sure. But I'm not a doctor. But our approach is not to tell them what to do. Our approach is to meet their needs, to listen, to help them find solutions.
So tell us a story. Tell us a little story about a particular person. I'll just lead you on.
Well, there are many because
we have to choose one.
Yes, well, I will get to that. But we in our 26 years, we've made an incredible impact. We have supported over 2 million Cleft surgeries and treatment.
All around the world.
Around the world in over 95 countries. And so those are lives changed. But we do have a very special guest with us, and it brings us great joy to have this beneficiary of SmileTrain here with us at DS World 2025 in Las Vegas. And I think many of the attendees of DS World know who Nasly is. So Nasly, her story has been shared for the last 2 years at DS World, just talking about the partnership that SmileTrain has with Dentsply Sirona, and highlighting the complexity of Cleft, the need for access to care, but then the need for innovation and obviously the digitization of the orthodontics that Nasly needed for her full transformation. So Nasly's story has been highlighted in videos for the past couple of years, and this year we are so proud to have Nasly here with us from Colombia. And she was here to share her story. And I will let her take it from there. No one wants to hear from me anymore. They want to hear and meet Nasly.
So I'm going to get up and walk over, bring her over here in a couple of seconds. So
Great.
hold on.
So, Nasly, we would love to hear your story.
Les encantaría escuchar tu historia.
We should have mentioned that Nasly's native language is Spanish, of course. So in the background, you'll hear some translation for us.
Bueno, muchas gracias a todos por permitirme estar acá. Bueno, desde recién nacida, ha empezado este proceso de tratamiento y a los meses tuve mi primera cirugía de cerrar el labio. Entonces, siempre ha sido muy de trabajo constante, de visitar médicos, de estar para allá, para acá. Y ha sido muy duro, pero también muy bonito poder ver todos los resultados y todo el sacrificio de mi familia, de los doctores, de todos, que por fin hoy podemos estar acá y presentar mi historia y los resultados.
That's an amazing story. And so you were a little baby, and you had this problem, a cleft problem. And over how many years did it take to make this happen?
Bueno, terminar el tratamiento, pero como tal de dientes, sí.
Todo tu tratamiento.
Bueno, no, mi tratamiento, aún falta como una cirugía, pero ya en sí ya está todo terminado y es muy sorprendente y muy bonito porque yo solamente tengo 4 cirugías. Entonces, y escuchar que otros niños tienen un montón de cirugías y ver que yo he podido lograr tantas cosas con apenas 4 es muy sorprendente y gracias a Dios y a todos que han hecho posible todo esto, es muy bonito.
You are beautiful now. You are beautiful.
And then maybe just for Susannah, to explain for people who aren't real familiar with this process, that some people might think it's something that you correct, when there's an infant that's got a problem, you fix it and, they're done. And obviously it's a long journey for a lot of people, and a lot of people are involved, and it's grueling at times, but makes it more rewarding when you see the end result.
It's truly rewarding. And this is the transformation we want to see. When we think of Nasly, and she was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate. She struggled to feed as an infant, so that was a big challenge for her family. She was able to connect with a smile trained partner. So her mom, Dora, was able to receive nutrition counseling, be put on a treatment plan. She needed to have her first surgery, needed a palate repair, so she obviously had a cleft palate.
And she might have been like 6 months at the time or something. I mean, very young.
I'm actually not sure when Nasly's very first surgery was, but usually the lip is repaired first. The palate follows 6 to 9 months later. Speech therapy is required, especially with open palate. There's the speech impediment that would be there if you don't have a palate and you can't make sound, which speech therapy, for anyone who really understands speech therapy, it has to be a regular treatment schedule. So it requires many interventions. I had a child who was in speech. I mean, you're seeing your speech therapist twice a week. So these are the challenges that Smile Train works through with our medical partners on how does a patient who is traveling, in Nasly's case, she was traveling over 2 hours to get to the treatment center. How can we make these easier? How can we use technology? You know, and this is where like a Dentsply Sirona comes in when we get to the orthodontic stage of her treatment. But it was all about how can we get this equipment into the hands of our partners. They wouldn't have access to that if it wasn't for an organization like Smile Train that comes in there, raises the awareness, and you know, makes that treatment easier. So
Technology makes a lot of this possible, but there's also need the resources, and that's where the partners come in.
yeah, and that's the beauty of our model, is the model of partnership. So we're partnering with our medical partners. They are treating the patients. And then we have partners like a partner like Dentsply Sirona that is, you know, giving us access to equipment. They're obviously supporting us financially as well, and supporting surgeries and other elements of our treatment. And it's just been a really amazing partnership. Paul.
Yes, I just want to clarify that this is not just you know, as a child you get this. She's growing. The mouth is changing. The whole palate is changing. So the initial cleft, not to get too complicated, but the initial surgery is just closing the space with the tissue. But bone has to be built in there, and sometimes there's surgery to get bone from another part of her body, from her hip or something, to replace the palate and do other things. There's a lot of reconstruction. So it wasn't just, even though we're saying it's a long journey, every year there was something else that had to happen. And if the teeth weren't aligned properly, there was orthodontics involved too. So this whole thing, it was like orthodontic surgery. So this whole thing had to come to be, and she had to go through all these things. And look at her. Look at her.
Not just
And the confidence.
Yeah, I was going to say not just the confidence and the feeling more accepted, but for someone who we were concerned about speaking, she put on a show for us today with her voice. So
Not just speaking, singing, and beautifully at
yes. Again, just a lot of wonderful things that Smile Train does, and every year I come here and I see some of these stories, and I mean, I'm not involved in it directly, and I'm just so appreciative of all the things you guys do.
Thank you so much, Stan.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Andrea Froning, and I'm the Chief Human Resource Officer for Dentsply Sirona. And we are so excited and thrilled that Nasly and her mother made this trip from Colombia to be with us this week during our 2025 DS World. I think it was the highlight. I know it's personally my highlight, but I think for all of us, personal highlight. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the work that all of you and your organization does to make this happen. And we are extremely pleased to have this partnership where we really do want to go beyond to make sure that we're making the world a brighter place. So thank you for the partnership.
And thank you.